For months, whispers of deceit had swirled through the gilded halls of royal history, but nothing compared to the storm that erupted when Netflix's secret memos were leaked, memos that painted Meghan Markle not as the victimized duchess she portrayed herself to be, but as a master manipulator, engineering a billion-dollar empire of half-truths and twists. What was once sold as a tale of courage, of a couple breaking free from royal chains, was now being unmasked as a ruthless business scheme, one that not only deceived the public but potentially defrauded Netflix of millions. It all began with the glittering promise of a fresh start. In 2020, when Harry and Meghan dramatically stepped back from royal duties, the world watched as they declared their independence. They spoke of building a life of service, honesty, and impact. But behind closed doors, a far more cunning plan was taking shape, a plan that involved lucrative contracts, headline-grabbing documentaries, and carefully staged revelation. Netflix became their golden ticket, reportedly offering a staggering $100 million for exclusive rights to their. But as emails and internal communications leaked, the image of an oppressed duchess began to. The first red flag came from within Netflix itself. A senior executive, whose identity remains protected, revealed in the leaked documents that Meghan's team provided misleading audience metrics from their previous media, inflated streaming predictions, fabricated engagement numbers, and promises of unprecedented viewer loyalty. Numbers that swayed Netflix's board to greenlight the historic deal, were now under investigation. They sold us a dream that never existed, the executive reportedly wrote. It was a kingdom of smoke. But the betrayal ran deeper. As the couple's Netflix series aired, royal insiders began pointing out glaring inconsistencies, stories that shifted timelines, exaggerated conflicts, or conveniently omitted key details. One former palace aide, speaking anonymously, described how a crucial scene in the series, depicting Meghan's tearful departure from the palace, was not only staged but filmed months after their actual exit, in a rented English manor far from Windsor. They made the pain look fresh, the aide said. It was a performance. And Netflix paid for it. As the cracks widened, the financial underbelly of the deal became harder to ignore. Internal accountants at Netflix flagged a series of suspicious invoices tied to Meghan's production company. Consultants, stylists, and narrative strategists billed astronomical fees, one reportedly charging $2 million for a 6-week narrative restructuring consultation, allegedly to reshape the couple's image after public backlash. This wasn't documentary filmmaking, said one insider, it was brand laundering on. The turning point came when Netflix's legal team initiated a discreet audit, fearing shareholder backlash over what they found sent shockwaves through the boardroom. Several episodes of the series had been produced under shell companies registered in tax havens, funneling payments in ways that obscured true profits and raised serious questions of financial. While there is no public confirmation of direct criminal activity yet, whispers of contractual misrepresentation and creative fraud began. Netflix, once the couple's staunchest ally, quietly started to pull back. Meanwhile, the royal family, which had endured a storm of public criticism following the series, found itself both vindicated and in. A source close to Prince William described his reaction as a mix of cold fury and grim. For years, he had warned that the couple's version of the truth was selective, yet any attempt to counter it was dismissed as institutional gaslighting. Now, with Netflix itself questioning the authenticity of the narrative, William reportedly pushed for a legal review of the damages inflicted upon the monarchy's global. Harry, sources say, has been growing increasingly anxious as the walls close in. Friends close to him described tense phone calls with Netflix executives, desperate attempts to salvage the partnership, and late-night meetings with legal advisors. He thought this deal would be their legacy, one friend revealed, but it may become their own. Meghan, however, remains defiant. In recent interviews, she has brushed off the accusations as a coordinated smear campaign by those threatened by her. And yet behind her polished smile, reports of growing rifts between her and key Netflix partners continued. The scandal has ignited a broader debate about truth in celebrity media. How much of what we watch is genuine, and how much is engineered for profit? Netflix, reeling from public backlash and stockholder pressure, has reportedly suspended new collaborations with Meghan's team pending the outcome of the ongoing investigation. Analysts estimate the streaming giant could face losses upward of $50 million if advertisers pull out and subscribers lose trust. But the story is far from over. In London, Whispers of a class action lawsuit on behalf of misled subscribers are beginning to surface. Meanwhile, in California, paparazzi swarm the couple's Montecito mansion, hoping for the photograph that will capture their fall from the narrative they once controlled with iron precision is slipping through their fingers, replaced by a darker, more chaotic truth, one they can no longer edit, script, or as more documents leak, a chilling picture emerges. Meetings where royal scandals were deliberately magnified to ensure maximum media impact, scenes reshot to heighten drama, and carefully timed releases designed to overshadow other. The betrayal, it seems, was not just of the royal family, but of the global audience that tuned in expecting authenticity. For Meghan, the stakes have never been higher. With Netflix turning cold, other streaming platforms are said to be reconsidering their offer. Her carefully crafted brand, feminist icon, survivor, truth teller, is under siege. And as her financial empire shows cracks, old allies are beginning to distance them. PR firms once clamoring to represent her now issue cautious statements. Celebrity friends who once defended her at every turn have fallen. Could this be the beginning of the end for the Sussex media dream? Insiders suggest Meghan is preparing for a fierce counteroffensive, rumors of a tell-all memoir, new interviews painting herself as the victim of corporate betrayal, even whispers of a documentary exposing Netflix itself. But whether the public is ready to believe her again remains uncertain. What is certain is that the illusion has shattered. The world has seen the cracks behind the curated Instagram posts, the polished Netflix confessionals, the meticulously staged moments of vulnerability. And for a couple that built their post-royal identity on the promise of living authentically, the revelation of such deception could prove fatal, not just to their bank accounts, but to their legacy. Netflix now faces its own reckoning. Once hailed as a pioneer of open storytelling, it stands accused of failing to vet the very content it banked. Calls for executive resignations are growing louder. Investors are demanding accountability, and audiences, weary of manipulative celebrity narratives, are asking a simple question: if this was a lie, how many other documentaries are just expensive fairy tales? As the dust settles, one thing is clear: betrayal sells, but it also destroys. Meghan Markle may have won the battle for attention, but in doing so, she may have lost the war for trust. And in the cutthroat world of streaming empires and royal scandals, trust is the only currency that